Dale, man, it's El Machete Veni Vendetta with the Perfect Stranger, man. I'm making a reacquaintance with my hombre, Lucky Wrench. Some of you know him as Ryan Tarberton, Skanking Daddy, great homie of mine, you know, Inspirato. We're colleagues in the punk rock kind of movement, and lead singer of the Slashdogs, man. How you doing, my brother?
Very well, thanks, Vinny. Thanks for the kind introduction. But yeah, we've both been doing this for a long time, and we've walked a long way together. So it's good to be chatting to you again, my man.
No, it's fucking awesome, man. Yeah. So it's been 2 years of all this bullshit that we've been going through. You know, fucking not playing shows and all of that. But right now, yeah, like besides all that bullshit, you know, it's nice to reminisce, and whoever's gonna watch this, you know, tell people, educate people about you know, me and you, we go way back. You know, we met probably in 1996, if I can recall, on a road trip to East London, which is your hometown. So I don't know, give me your what you remember.
It's breaking up there. Yeah, my recollection of that time. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was way back, dude. Like, it's weird that you talk about the lockdowns. I just wanted to say, like, the last time we played, the Slashdogs played I think it was about a week or 2 weeks before the whole lockdown happened, and it was a kick-ass show, and we played with you guys. We played with the Vendetta Cartel.
This was I think it was the 10th, if I remember, the 9th or the 10th of March 2019 at the Smoking Kills bar, I believe.
Shucks, when was it? When was it? What month? March.
It was March the 10th or the 9th, because I think we went on lockdown a week after that, which was the 20 something of 2019. So yeah, that was it's good for you to mention that. So yeah, like
not 20,
and yeah, the last show we had was me and us together at Smoking Kills. That
wasn't 2019.
And it's mad that
it was 2020.
2019, yeah.
No, 2020.
And that's where I'm hustling my tacos as well. That's where I hustle my tacos now. So I'm the taco man at Smoking Kills. But yeah, and people have been asking, you know, when's the Vendettas coming back? When's all this, you know? So I don't know, maybe when's the Slashdogs coming back? The same as the Vendettas. It's unknown, eh?
But dude, I think it was 2020, not 2019, eh? Lockdown.
Yes. I am talking out of my ass. It was 2020. The 9th or the 10th, but it was the beginning of March, and like I say, we went into lockdown maybe a week or two afterwards. There was I don't know who else shared the stage with us. It was Slashdogs, Vendettas, and there was another band. I can't remember who the other band was. Do you remember?
It was Sex Tape was the other band, and
yes, and then Sex Tape, yeah,
Sex Tape, and then the other band was. Oh man, we've got the flyers. We'll probably try and edit the flyers.
Yeah, we'll
maybe. I don't know if we do a post.
Yeah, but no, yeah. So yeah, that was the last time we shared the stage. But going back to let's talk to me and talk to the people that are gonna watch this and listen to about what you remember of this whole going. You know, the beginning of us getting bitten, or you know, we've always been revolutionaries in our minds, but in this road trip that we took in 1996 to your hometown of East London, talk to me about that if you can a little bit.
Well, it's interesting how music brings people together and sort of shared interests and different personalities as well, you know, that come together. But punk rock was certainly one of the things that drew us together, because I moved up to Joburg, over, like we said, over 20 years ago now, over like 20, whatever it is. And
25 years maybe.
25 years. yeah, from a small town in the Eastern Cape, where there were probably about 5 punk rockers in the entire place, and if that, and moved up to Joburg, and the place was just buzzing, man. That's at that time there was a lot of cool stuff happening in Joburg. Shows happening in Edenvale, shows happening all over the show, Olivedale, like, yeah, and yeah, so like I started coming to shows over here. I mean, and I remember the first show that I came up to, got a flyer from at the National School of the Arts, and went through to Skates for Africa warehouse, which was just on the way to the airport. And I remember seeing the Dixons and Scabby Annie and Leak before they were Leak and the Bouncing Uptones, and the circle pit was just so massive. There's wind coming off of it, man. There's no air conditioning in there, but the kids were the air conditioners. Like, yeah, it was an insane experience at that time, because yeah, that's when I thought to myself, yeah, Joburg, home, you know. So, and then there was a show that came up with the first, like, I think this was the first punk rock band that had come out post the political change, or, you know, so the redo, and the band called Goaty Hook, and we met through that. That was actually, I think, how we first started sort of hanging out. And we decided to take a train trip down to East London, my hometown, where this band was going to be playing. Yourself, Kat, Angus Campbell, Nicola Cooper, and who else was it?
Brunella. I can't remember her surname, but yeah, like she was. I think they were all, like I said, they were all students at doing at Wits Tech and stuff. So and obviously Nicola was your girlfriend at that time, and yeah, we got on the train and we took this trip, yeah, to, like, it was like maybe a 2-day trip on the train, if I remember, with the, I think we had a case full of quartz.
Yeah, that was it.
And we got into those little compartments where there were like basically six bunk beds and stuff, and we headed off to East London, and we landed up in a little town there called Vincent.
Well,
and then we linked up with your homie Rowan, who also was part of the show. He had a band called Job's Tree, and yeah, I don't know where the show was. It was at the showgrounds or something.
I think it was at Buffalo Stadium, which is like the big rugby club there.
Yeah.
I think it was about 150 people. So the stage was set up in the middle of the stadium, and there's massive field and like seats. It was empty. I mean, they overcooked this on the size there, I think. But I guess it was kind of a church event, because it was a Christian punk band that the church had got involved in. So I guess they had pulled some favors. It's amazing what religion can do.
It can move mountain. It can turn water to wine, or wine to water. It can turn, you know, fish to bread. You know, like you can make a fish sandwich. There's all those kind of things. And yeah, the Goaty Hook, they were on a label called Tooth and Nail Records. That's what I remember. That's where at that time, obviously there was the other record labels, but they were the more, you know, to call them Jesus freaks or happy clappies. I don't want to offend anybody, but they were happy for punk. Yeah, let's just say they were happy for punks. They were happy for punk, man.
Sure. Yeah, I guess we were just going down more because they were a great band, man. A really good band. I remember you broke some kid's nose in the mosh pit. It was wild. And Rowan's band kicked ass.
I'm sorry, whoever broke your nose, 22 years old. I apologize if anyone's listening.
It happened in the heat of the moment. Yeah. So anyways, but yeah, Rowan's band, Job's Tree at the time, they were really good. But that show made a big impression, I think, on both of us. Cody Hook were such a good band. I mean, yeah, the biggest thing that made an impression on me was how tight they were as a unit and how each one of them were performers. But if you watched them as a whole unit, it became a whole new animal, like all totally succinct, knew what they were on about, like just power, you know. And yeah, it was a really fun show. There was a video of that show that came out. Do you remember that video? I don't know. We watched it afterwards. I watched the video of that show. Actually, it's not on YouTube or anything like that. But there was. Let's see if I can track it down. But I still had blue hair. I remember.
Yeah. If anyone's watching this and listening and was there where was this It was in 1996. I don't remember the month. It must have been during December, January, because obviously Nicola and my sister, they were in university, so it was during like a university break kind of vibe. So anyone listening, that's got a video of the Cody Hook vibe, you know.
It might have
contact me, Ryan.
It might have even been June holidays there. June, July.
Maybe the middle of the year, but yeah, like it was holiday time and all that. And yeah, the cool thing about it as well is that like we got to hang out with them afterwards. I remember we went to there was a club there called Numbers in East London, and
I think it's still going.
And we went. It's still going, yeah. And it was what I remember of that night. It was because also the mad thing about it is that the bassist Christian, like everyone knows, I'm from Chile. You know, the bassist Christian was from Chile as well, and I think the other guy was Joel. Joel was like he was like he looked like Billy Joel from Green Day. He was the good looking bloke from where were they from? Do you remember which part of America they were from, man?
Seattle. They were near to.
I think that yes, they were from Seattle. We headed to Numbers, but Numbers was a club that had all kinds. But on that specific night, I remember we went to. It was a metal night, and they were giving away. They had a whole Pantera. I think it was the Vulgar Display of Power album or whatever, and I remember. I landed up winning that CD by standing on someone's foot or something as well, you know, like also like some weird thing like that, and we got to hang out with them, and then that was 96. I think Vendettas formed a little short while after that, 97. And then you went on to join Fuzzy, and how did this whole Fuzzy? How did you join Fuzzy anyway?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to say. Joel looked more like I think you meant to say Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day, but I think he did.
Yes, what did I say? I said Billy Joel.
But I think he looked more like Billy Joel actually. I think you were right with Billy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know they make these memes like where you can put the singer of Green Day, you can put his face on Billy Joel and it's Billy Joel Armstrong, you know. So like sing me a song, Mr. Piano Man. Sing me a song tonight. Like so, there's all those memes. Like, you know, I put something recently about John Candy. You know, John Candy is that old Canadian comedian. I put him inside a candy floss, and I called him John Candy Floss. You know, so like there's all, I don't know, it's some kind of weird kind of comedy vibes and stuff. So yeah, like
Anastasia just put one up just the other day with the scene from Scarface. He's got the mound of cocaine next to him, and he's in the seat with his nose full of like white powder. Well, she replaced his head with a alpaca, and she called it alpacachino. But
that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, I like that, man. Yeah, but
South American and all. Yeah,
I enjoy that. But like you say, like I was saying, I asked you, How did you get into the fuzzy vibe?
Oh, dude, I think, well, we were busy going. One night I was watching, I went through to a show at a place called Bob's Bar in Troyville, which later became London Calling. At that time, there was still quite a vibe happening in that part of the town for punk rock. And I guess there's another place called The Portal, which was across the road that you also used to, it wasn't punk rock, but they'd play a lot of trip hop and stuff like street music. It was urban music type. It was a bit of a haven for urban music at the time. And Bob's Bar was owned by the same guy that owned 206, that later owned, well, I think he started with 206 later on. I think I'm correct in saying that.
Yeah. I think it's also the DJ Bob. DJ Bob is that's his DJ name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we have him on the show sometime soon, DJ Bob, to talk about.
So I think
that's a whole nother, but carry on, brother.
A whole other story. But they had a band at that time playing that had come up from Cape Town by the name of Dorp, and it was for the launch of their album Danger Ngozi Gevaar, which they were busy trying to support and sell on the road, obviously. And I went through because I enjoyed them. They kind of had a baritone sax, which was kind of, I think they had a baritone sax or I don't know, alto sax. But I think I think it was baritone sax. And they came up to support that album, and I went through and I met Mike over there, and I'd seen Fuzzy Gish at a bunch of the shows before. They were still quite a young band at that stage, but they were playing more sort of covers, and they didn't really have too many. I think they had like maybe 2 or 3 sort of original songs, but the rest of the stuff was sort of, I think they did some Led Zeppelin and they did some NoFX sort of covers. And Mike came up to me and I was like, "Yo, dude, I love your guys' band. Like, you guys must carry on. It's sounding really good." And I said, "But you guys need more originals, you know." And Mike said to me, "Yeah, but he doesn't think that they're going to be carrying on with the band because the the 2 guitarists, bass guitarist and the lead guitarist were wanting to quit." And but he said that JP and him were still keen to carry on with the band. So we started chatting and we were saying, so I said, we started chatting and we started saying, well, you know, like the band would sound really good if you guys had to kind of explore a ska sort of direction, which was kind of starting to pop at that time, I guess. It became popular and was becoming popular at that time. And Mike said, "Yeah, but we don't know any horn players. Do you know anyone that plays horns?" And I was like, "Well, I played at school. I was in the marching band." And the next day I went out and bought myself a trumpet. I was still really shit at that time, really shit. And I went through for the first rehearsal with them. And it was before Malcolm had joined. They were still trying to get things up and running again. So Malcolm joined a little while afterwards. And we set out with Fuzzy Gish. So yeah, it was a very, very cool time. And the shows, it was crazy because it was totally it was totally independent at that time, I guess. And we didn't know anything about the music industry or anything like that. Or, not that I have any interest in that. I still don't have any interest. But it was, we built that band up. Like, I mean, JP is an excellent songwriter as well. So it just grew up, it just built up from the ground, you know. Pretty soon we were having really good shows, you know. People started coming out. I think it was also caught at the right time in terms of punk rock, you know. And you guys were also like, I think you guys started around the same time as well. I think it was around the same time that Vendetta Cartel came up. So we all came up together for that in the punk rock scene, you know. Hello, can you hear me?
just before you hit the whole Scar vibe, he came to actually join the Vendetta cartel. So there's history there. It was like we had myself on vocals.
Hang on a sec, bro. Just take it back a bit. It cut out. Just start with the
yeah. So like I said, what you were saying earlier, the hiatus that Mike was telling you, you were saying he was the original drummer of Fuzzy, and he was saying, no, these guys don't want to carry on. So during that hiatus, when we were forming the Vendettas, JP from Fuzzy actually came to play guitar for us, and it was myself on vocals. We had my brother Brett Belair. He's in Cape Town now. We had Xavier now on bass, and then we had Stuart Spies on guitar, and then I think Stuart bought JP like as a second guitarist, and then then we did a few. I don't even know. Maybe we did a show. I don't even know if we did a show with him, but then shortly afterwards he introduced us to Chris Webb, who was the second guitarist, and then then the Vendettas took out, and probably the same time, 96, 97. At that time, like you were saying, we knew nothing about anything. We just knew how to drink Zamalek and smoke the ganja vibes and stuff. And there were a few venues, like remember distinctly, the Big Easy down in Kensington on the east side. Obviously, like you said, all the punk shows inside the Skate for Africa. Bugsy's Beat Bar here in Randburg. Obviously Roxy's in Melville. If you go past there, it's a shell of a building now and everything. And 97 and obviously the Pretoria bands, Leak and the Bouncing Uptones that you mentioned. Who else was there at that time? Some bands from the east side, from the East Rand.
Humphrey the Teacup came up later.
Humphrey the Teacup, they came up in that time. We had also the brothers that are still carrying on now. Maybe they came a little bit later, but Misled also. Misled is also, and then that was the start. Now, we've got a song, back in 97, the Vendettas, back in 97, when I should have walked away, but I stayed, so we stayed, and 25 years later, we're still here, we're still staying and stuff. So and it's awesome. Whoever's listening to this as well, and like I say, if in the future we're gonna try to get hold of all these old puppies, all these old punk rock puppies, like I would really like to have a talk with JP. I recently did something with them as well during this whole lockdown. You guys, you were in the band when you had that song, burn the fucking house down, right?
No,
remember that song?
But that's newer, dude. That's
is that newer?
The first song that really did well. But I wanted to mention something else in terms of the bands as well. There was another band at that time called the 85ers. I don't know if you remember.
Yes. Those,
Gary and Kate, and oh man,
Candace.
Candace, that's right.
Candace,
that's right.
Candace is I would love to chat to Candace also. She's a big time entrepreneur. She's got a very awesome clothing label called Blue Priest out of Cape Town in Muizenberg.
No way.
Candace Curry, if you're listening to, much love to you. 85ers were rocking Blue Priest clothing, like some very Afro tech kind of vibe that she's got. I've got a few of her shorts and stuff, very African kind of prints and stuff. So also she went on to become a very influential band, because it was the two ladies and Gary the drummer. Just the funny thing about Gary, also very hardcore punk, flipped from the punk rock side and he became a devoted Hare Krishna. I don't know if you remember that as well.
That's why the band.
So the extremities.
Well, you there?
Extremities of things. Like just a short thing to visiting things. During the whole lockdown, they approached me because obviously after your time, they had the song "Bringing the House Down," and someone approached them about, because obviously Malcolm's in the whole advertising game and stuff. So and they wanted like a motorbike. They were called Gas, with respect to Gas, and they wanted to revive that song. But they really liked the Burning Down the House, but they wanted to put a twist in it, and a Spanish twist in it. So Malcolm contacted me, and I did the whole track in Spanish for the video. I think I sent it to you and stuff, and they did a little promo video and stuff. And I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I didn't see it.
I'll send you the video, and you can see. Oh, it's the whole track, the whole Burning Down the track. It's got that the fuzzy feel, but featuring Vinny Vendetta. You know, it's got that kind of feel, and I'd never been there as well. Just talking about that as well, and I know we recorded it at I think B Sharp Studios out in Benoni, Boksburg side.
Yeah.
Old JP. Like I'd never met him, you know. I'd really heard about him, and yeah, like I said, me and JP, we did an English version again, and we did the Spanish version. You know, 22 years later, you know, it's just how you progress. You know, you become a professional. You know, we went in there. You know, it's like, okay, in an hour we were in and out, writing. You know, like when, you know, realistically when we started, like Vendettas haven't even released any of their stuff. Like it's taken us 22 years to write one album. Now 22 years later, it takes us 1 hour to write to put out one track and stuff. So with age comes knowledge and all that stuff. So that little story of it, I'll send you the video. But yeah, it's got a very nice kind of, like I said, old school kind of vibe, and with the Vendetta vocals, it adds a nice kind of flip. Yeah, I'll send it to you, but yeah, respect to Malcolm for hooking that up as well. And like I said, it would be nice to talk, because people, we need to put this out. Whatever, whether you put it out, this is there's a lot of it's a word. I love the word. Maybe you can. My English is not too good in Spanish, you know, so I like the word, but fuck, I just can't say it. Camaraderie. What's the word?
Camaraderie.
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 Sound like a camaraderie. Yeah. So sorry, my English at the best of times is not very good looking. It's not very good looking, but yeah, in regards to that, and like you mentioned, you know, the 85ers. I think there was also, I don't know if he was part of the 85ers. Another Mike Fernandez. I don't know if
not when I was.
You remember Mike Fernandez?
Not when I was with them. I remember the name like Mike Fernandez, but I don't. That wasn't when I was, because I was with 85ers for a little while.
You.
And when JP was on a different hiatus. He moved on briefly.
The lead singer got the girls a little bit. You know, there was a little bit of we can talk about that. There was a lot of incestuation there, incestuous. You know, like my girlfriend is your girlfriend, and your girlfriend is my girlfriend kind of vibe in those days.
Yeah, look, I mean that's a whole other story that,
you know, about the progressions and stuff, about everything from that time and the old school days. You also you've become quite a celebrity in the sense. You were speaking to me a while that you've gone into acting, eh?
Well, dude, yeah. Look, I mean, it's not really. I'm not in the pursuit of celebrity. I'm not like really into that stuff. It was just an opportunity that came up, and I thought it would be an adventure. So, we went down to. But I mean, that's a whole other story. We digress now.
Yeah. No. I just wanted to. We can talk about it at another time. But also, my point that I wanted to bring across is that the people that you work with was Boo. Boo, if anyone remembers Boo as well. So I'm just trying to, piece together that, you know, our past, the journey to our future, everyone's connected, you know, like all the bands are connected. Like like just a weird story of mine is like also we used to rehearse and there were great shows in Carfax as well. I don't even remember Carfax, and we used to rehearse there all the time. And this was maybe a generation before us, or a decade before us, were the guys from Plum and Seed and Kevin Leach.
Plum and Seed were around at that time, dude. Like,
yeah, they were not on the punk rock kind of vibe, but also and that's just the connection I want to say. You know, years later, there's Chris Chameleon, Boo, and then fucking the future, fucking you make a movie with fucking Chris Chameleon, you know, or myself, you know. I'm also like, I've progressed from singing in a punk rock band to being the taco man, you know. If people know me from punk rock, now you know me from fucking the taco business, you know. I'm in the food business. You're a artist in the sense of graphic design and all that kind of stuff, you know. We all grow up and we all have to pay the bills because realistically, you know, as much as we love to do punk rock, the industry in South Africa it's a little bit different, you know. It's a little bit different overseas, you know. Fuzzy Gish, Slashdogs, Vendetta Cartel, we international, we world-class bands, you know, and there has been world-class bands. You guys shared stages here in South Africa with No Effects. We've shared the stage with Mad Caddies from Australia, the Exploited from England and stuff. So we have gotten that international exposure. You went to tour with Fuzzy overseas. Vendetta's never made it that way yet, you know. Fuck, it's never too late and stuff. But yeah, just a little, like, you know, South Africa it's a beautiful rainbow nation, you know. Like I say, I'm an immigrant. I came out in '85, and unless you're in Cape Town, you know, like it doesn't. You do it yourself. It's the DIY mentality, but it doesn't lend. You know, if you're a punk rock kind of band, if you have to take your own initiative to take it as far as you can. But you seriously you can't make a living out of punk rock, and maybe now people can now because we've laid down that foundation, you know, where. So maybe in the future, you know, the people know about South Africa and not just in the sense of our apartheid and all this stuff. But, you know, like I said, I'm at Smoking Kills all the time, and I see the future. You know, I see the United States of Africa, that everyone's mixing and there's a revival. The punk rock revival is coming back. You know, and as old as we get in, you know, there's room. There's still room, you know. Like it's never too late. Like I said, just a little rant that I wanted to say, you know. But yeah, it's in regards to that, everything's connected. You know, we all and things are so mashed up now. You know, it's a culture clash. You know, so you check these guys now dress leather jackets, studdeds, and all that stuff, but wearing a Ramones shirt. And they think Ramones is a fucking brand, you know. They don't know who the fucking Ramones are, or even Kurt Cobain, you know. Like bands have become brands and stuff. So it's also our duty as all the kind of peeps to educate the people as well. I think that as well, you know.
Yeah, look, I mean, like, I don't know. I think everyone's got their own journey. Like, I mean, if you think about it, when we were young. Like, or younger. I mean, we didn't know shit. When I was in East London, I used to get like tapes from Joburg that were stretched, and a lot of times we'd have to try and figure out from the tapes what the bands were that we were getting, because we couldn't get a lot of that music, or it just wasn't that readily available. It was obviously pre-internet, so you really had to dig for that stuff. And in a way, it's kind of the same now in a way, because there's just so much that one has access to. Look, the digging is a lot easier now because of the internet. But if you're wearing a shirt of a band, chances are you're gonna it's easy enough to find if you don't mistake it for a brand. But
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
but yeah, it's just a very different time now, man. But in terms of the interconnectivity of bands and the people that used to come to shows, and it was quite a strong. But also,
I lost Ryan.
can you not hear me?
Yeah, just go back to what you were saying. Like you were saying, like just go from when you were saying about if you're gonna wear the band shirt. You were saying.
Oh no! It's just that it's a lot easier for people to come by those brands now because of things like the internet. So I guess it's a lot like, yeah. I mean, a lot of my education, a lot of the bands kind of came a little bit later than maybe someone in the States because just accessibility. But I mean, I guess bands like Peter and the Test Tube Babies and yeah, Exploited and Bad Religion, all that stuff we managed to get hold of quite early on. But there was a whole plethora of other bands that were waiting for us as a major influence, I suppose, later on down the line, you know. But yeah, Gary. The thing is with, I mean, just back to the 85ers thing. Gary, it was a straight edge band because I played with them for a little while. And he was very much into the Krishna sort of core or Krishna sort of message even then. I think he just transcended or transitioned to becoming more of a devotee, and that kind of is what ended that band. But they were really good. But there were a lot of bands, Expandable, Mandible. Malcolm used to be in the Dixons. That was one of the first bands that I saw when I moved up to Joburg. And also, but like you say as well, you know, like the whole thing of my girlfriend, your girlfriend, it was also something that kind of it's diverted the unity scene a little bit, which was a bit disappointing because it tended to break up the scene just as it would grow, you know. You'd go just because of some lovers spat that would happen. I mean, I know about
Scandaloso, we call it the punk rock scandaloso. But also that, like, also I was thinking now as well. You also you've been doing some projects. So what the other project you did also? He was in another band. Recently you also in a project with the Means, right? But
yeah.
But what he was in another band. What was his band? I can't remember.
Well, he was
in Submachine.
Submachine. He was in the Kitty Fiddlers.
The Kitty Fiddlers, yeah. You see, those are also like those are what spawned from our scene. You know, Kitty Fiddlers also. The singer Trevor. Trevor is a big time boxing promoter now. He went on to also front the band Bloodline as well. Remember Bloodline also, like with Vossi.
We used to smuggle him into shows. Trevor, we used to smuggle into shows when he was still a young'un in Pretoria. We used to smuggle him into Nile Crocodile.
Yeah. Trevor Volmeran, knuckle game. He's in Durban now. Trevor, my brother, if you're listening to us, dude, like. Dude, you've grown up to be a machine of a man, bro. But in my eyes, you're still a pendejo, bro. You're still a little pendejo, man. And
he was a machine of a man when he was at the age of 12 because he was big for a 12-year-old. That's why it wasn't so hard to smuggle him into shows. So,
yeah, for sure. But when I look at him now, he's a machine of a. He looks, you know, him. If you put him and The Rock next to each other, bro, it's like he's that kind of vibe. But to me, when I look at him, I see him as a little, like I said, the word we use in Spanish, a pendejo.
Yeah.
Trevor, you're still a pendejo, but I love you. You know, you don't have to slap me around and stuff. But I know there's that respect. Maybe he's gonna come slap me around, but no, yeah. So that's also the next generation, the Bloodlines. There was another band. What? Along the same Ethel My Love and the other guys.
Oh man.
The Ethel My Love and Ignorance is Typical. Also, they were also part of Ethel My Love and the Barnes brothers.
Sniper on the Roof as well.
Sniper on the Roof. More
crust.
Yeah, more the crust core kind of bands. I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot of, like I say, we were the start. 95, maybe.
Well,
I was also reminiscing about. I don't know if you remember event.
I don't think we were the start though, dude. Like there were other bands before that, like
or the new wave, from the 90s going into the early 2000s. Like we were like sort of from the late 90s to the early 2000s. We were the next wave, you would just say, maybe the second or the third wave in the sense of,
there were bands that influenced. There were bands that influenced South African bands that were of great influences in the punk scene that kind of got left by the wayside as well. There was bands before there was a band called National Wake. There was bands like
yes,
which were at the height of apartheid when like it actually really mattered. Like I managed to stay out of the army just by carrying on studying, and then as soon as the conscription ended,
for sure. They lived in a time where it was heavy,
we actually had to make a stand. I mean, this is the other thing. It's easy to make a stand when everything's cool politically. You know what I mean? It's when it's politically correct to do so. But guys like James Phillips, especially, not that he had bands that had punk influences like the Cherry Face Lurchers and what is the other? Oh, he had a bunch of different bands. Oh man, it'll come to me. Anyways, but James Phillips.
But there's a lot of what you're talking about now as well. There's a lot of this that was showcased in that documentary. There was that documentary that Dion Moss made, Punk in Africa.
Yeah. Look,
Did you watch that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, I've got my opinions on that piece, like, because there's a lot of stuff that was ignored.
Yes, there has to. Yeah, no, I get you. But also in regards to something that you also mentioned earlier, and rest in peace as well, my brother George Bacon, dude. Also not to forget, Fuzzy being the leader in the Scop and Hoggity Hog, bro.
Hoggity Hog were
the
before
brothers.
Fuzzy. Hoggity Hog were before.
Yeah, Fuzzy. Like you said, they were even before. Ode to them. Like I said, my man George Bacon, the Greek Malacca, wherever you are, man, rest in peace. Like, but it is like you said, in that documentary there was a lot left out. There was a lot, but that's why maybe it's in our hands as well to piece things together. And whoever's listening to this, if you've recorded any footage, like you mentioned, there's that footage of 1996 and maybe it's me and my job and yours to make another kind of documentary of these times, of the times that we're explaining,
I think that look, you can never get a full picture from everyone's point of view because you're always looking at it from your perspective, but from yours and my perspective, I think we've got a good grasp of the Joburg punk rock scene especially. And maybe even slightly further abroad, but from our perspective. But it's there was stuff happening before. That kind of was totally kind of almost forgotten. And then the punk scene sort of started up, and the wave that we were part of was almost influenced by what was happening in America, which I suppose. And the UK, which was the same with those guys, but the guys that were doing it before kind of got forgotten by our version of our part of the scene, which kind of started on its own sort of. But I'm personally, there's other people as well with it, like the older punks that even older than me that remember that there was something else happening at that time. I was still in the Eastern Cape. I moved up just after that whole thing had died down, and kind of started building up again around when we kind of started getting back into it. So I guess in a way, it wasn't like we actively went out and built the scene. You know what I mean? We were just having a good time. We weren't doing, and it wasn't, I'm not trying to be presumptuous. I'm not saying that we built it because it's like, it's everyone, you know.
Yeah.
We were all, it was an excitement that was happening almost, that was almost like on a conscious level. But yeah, you and I were there. We were there, you know.
Yeah, but like I say, if there were ones that came before us, and yeah, if you think of any names, it would be nice to reach out of them, you know. Like obviously there must be in the middle 50s or in their 60s and stuff, that you know, because like I said, so you know, appreciating and educating whoever's going to listen to this, you know, if anybody is going to listen to it, like, and like we've talked about it a lot of times, we're not for everybody as well, you know. We have the opinions that we have. It's like, not saying opinions, people say opinions are like assholes, you know. It's not saying like opinions, everyone that's got an opinion is a fucking asshole, but respect,
But we
where there is respect.
Not always, not all the time.
Did you say?
We all are assholes at times, not all the time. Hopefully.
Yeah, we all got like fuck this. I've had conversations with people that fucking have told me stories about me that, you know, that I don't even fucking remember, of me being a fucking punk rock fucking diva, bro, you know. Yeah, like, and I wanted to say as well, you know, do you remember the venue? There was a venue in you know, you talking about you talked about Scabby Annie. There was a venue in Rivonia called Scruffy Murphy's. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember Scruffy Murphy's. That was the first time I saw Fuzzy, and that was when they were still doing the covers. And
yeah, I think that was,
they were still doing.
That was in Rivonia, and I remember. I just need to. We were talking about the homie Rowan. I remember when Rowan came up, and you lived somewhere up there in
you came
on the hill there by.
You were at that show with me.
Yes, and
you were at that show with me.
Yeah, and I think Rowan was with us, and I remember I don't know if you left me there or someone left me there, but I was talking to my brother-in-law about it. I remember fucking falling asleep on the bench outside, bro, and then I woke up like fucking the next day, and you know, those things you can't do anymore. You know, I remember going, you know, living all the way in the south of Joburg, going into town when the Doors existed, and walking back at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Did you come through with me that night? Did I leave you there?
Yes, mate. That's what I remember. I don't know. I remember waking up and I can't
remember. Dude, everything was a blur back then. Everything was a blur back then.
Yeah, no. Like so these are things I've been remembering. Now, motherfucker, Ryan, left me there.
What?
But in those times, things were different. Like I say, dude, nowadays, dude, you'd leave me there, fucking, you'd find my body in a fucking mortuary, you know. Like I said, I used to go to the Doors. Yeah, I lived in the south, go all the way to the Doors, come back walking at 3 o'clock in the morning through this dodgy park, like drunk out of my mind, dude, like fucking, and I still got home, you know. Like these are stories that, dude, like if you tell your kids the stories, like now they're fucking fairy tales, you know. They're fairy tales. Is like, I know you did that, or like, you know, you're talking about the way we source music. Like I was a little bit lucky as well, because me coming from Chile, South America, every time, you know, my aunt or someone came here, you know, they'd always send me something from there, you know, a cassette or whatever. So the aesthetic, we had the punk rock vibe, but we had the salsa feel, the Latin kind of feel, you know, to it and stuff. And that's what's rad about when you get people from different backgrounds and different cultures, and you mix them up, dude. I was exposed, you know.
Hello?
I lost you there. What did you say?
No, well, I used to get tapes from you as well. I remember we used to do tape swapping when I came up to Joburg, and we had swapped music all the time. And we just went down that sort of proverbial rabbit hole. because like there's just so many bands that were popping up globally. It was like a global event in a way. I mean, you know, the thing is that like it was crazy because like that scene just like, especially with the things like the Fat Records compilations and I mean, I found out since that all that music's been co-opted, dude. Like it's all been like those bands. I hate to say it, man, but like, and I sound like a dickhead for saying it, but they all sellouts. You know what I mean? Like NoFX, Bad Religion, the works, bro. They like we can debate that, but it's pretty obvious. Like they've been bought over by, dude. It's a CIA operation, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like that stuff it doesn't speak.
Yeah. But that's a conversation for another podcast. So we're going to talk. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
But it was very influential at the time, and I don't think it was as co-opted back then. But who knows? Maybe. But that stuff definitely influenced us, and I mean I'm grateful to it because I mean it got me back into music again and to the different kind of expression. Because I tell you, not having a band sucks. You know what I mean? As a thing, as a keep, it's almost like my church. You know what I mean? Like when I was
have you been doing any sorts of, you know, during this lockdown? Have you been meeting up with anybody like during this lockdown to do something?
I've been jamming trumpet again, brother. That's right. Yeah, check, there it is. I've been jamming trumpet. I play.
Okay.
So I've been playing for myself. But
I remember during the lockdown we were talking about doing something together. You know, I remember I sent you all those beats that I made and yeah, maybe you were you doing something with you besides the means? There was that other thing, not with the means. Was that your last kind of project after Slashdogs?
No, the means was well, we've been chatting about stuff as well. Hugh and I have been chatting about stuff, but everyone's kind of been he's moving down to Knysna area now, so like we're gonna have to do that all remotely. So like it all becomes like a technical clusterfuck.
Okay.
But we'll get there. It's not like, dude, to be honest with you, like in terms of the band, like we could, like I mean, both you and I, we come from we've got stories to tell, you know. But if it happens for me. For me, I just consider it more of a sort of a kind of almost jamming with other guys. It's a group meditation almost, you know. That's my favorite part of the band, of being able to write music together. The performances and playing shows and like all that other stuff is that's fun as well. And I miss that side of it. But the thing that I miss the most is getting together with you know, people and writing songs together. That's the best part of it.
It's the human experience. But also
it's also,
like I said,
it's also
I've been very.
It's also a microcosm of community.
It's also sorry.
It's almost like a microcosm of how a community and community could work, because you know, like it's you know, you find a way of working with people to come to a common goal, and everyone brings their own sort of thing to the mix, and there's a lot that we can learn from bands in terms of an alternative to politics, you know, because everyone understands what sounds good to them, and if you're on a pluck, then that makes you your tribe. It makes them your tribe, you know, in a sense. So
for sure.
It doesn't require any party politics or anything like that. You know, there's ways that we can get on by looking after one each other and making sure that we get a good song at the end of the day, because that's the ideal. And the song, the frequency that you put out is far above the individual. I mean, the individual is a particle of God, I suppose, if you want to look at it that way. But when you get people that come together in some sort of communion and make a piece of art, it takes it that much further. It takes it to a much higher frequency. And I think that in a way, politics is something that detracts from what is possible for humanity, you know. So, you know, not that I have.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but it definitely provided me a glimpse of that, and that's what I miss. I mean, this is the whole thing with these lockdowns, with people being separated from each other. I'm not saying that it's. I'm not saying, look, there are the bands that are playing and stuff like that, which is cool, and like it's good, but it's the chains are getting tighter. Let's just say that.
Yeah, for sure. But as long as you know, as long as you've got these interesting conversations, as long as you got the internet where you can reach out to people and you know, like, you know, fuck, the world is changing. You know, there's a whole lot of, dude, in the next episode of Further Trainer, we're gonna talk about all this stuff, the way the world is changing and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it is like I say,
I think
like also with the whole bands and stuff, it's also there's also it gets political as well, because there's that word again that I want to use, but I don't know, camaraderie, but there's always the friction and stuff, which is beautiful in the whole kind of sense. Like me personally, in I've had the vendettas and I've had the bad guys. I don't know if we've talked about
I saw the bad guys at Opikopi, remember?
The bad guys, like so I'm also like, my loyalty to and fuck, maybe I should go and become a fucking solo artist and stuff as well. But I still, you know, like I sit here sometimes in my room and because of this whole fucking lockdown, dude, you get lonely, dude. You miss your brothers and you miss that fucking interaction and stuff. And whether, like you say, fuck, there's an agenda, but there's no, whatever agenda they've got, there's nothing that they can do to fucking lock down the human spirit that we've got inside us. You know, as long as fucking, dude, you can chop off my fucking legs. I fucked up my ankle, dude. As long as I've got this, dude, I can be a fucking head in a fucking jar on a shelf, bro.
Don't say that.
As long as I've got that, bro, I fucking...
No. Hang on. That's stop you there.
Put my head on a jar and fucking...
Oh, I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm not going to get put to have VR goggles placed on my head and then I can donate my organs. No, fuck that shit, bro.
No. I don't mean it in that way. I'm just saying, as long as, like, dude, the worst thing that can happen to me is to lose my fucking voice. As long as I've got this fucking voice, dude, like, I can have, as long as I've got, I'm here, I'm all right. And you can put it, and then you can attach my dick to my Adam's apple here. So as long as I got my head and I need to talk shit and do a little bit of fucking with my chin, I'll be cool with that, bro. I'll be cool with that. But besides that,
I won't be cool with that. You can be cool with that. I won't be cool with that. I want my guts, bro.
But you see, this is what the beautiful thing about it is we're humans, we're homies, we've got different opinions, but the beautiful thing about the human mind and you know, like, I think I wanted to mention yesterday yesterday what you were saying about the whole feeling of what you have with the band. Yesterday, I hadn't seen it properly, dude. I also suggest you visit it. Yesterday, I watched you know that Mel Gibson movie he made, Apocalypto?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Have you seen it, bro?
Yeah.
I think you should revisit it, bro. Fucking to what's, dude, that shit, dude. Dude, I've never watched it fully, bro. But yesterday, dude, I watched it. I analyzed it in my head. Also, another topic that we'll talk about in the future. Now that I'm on these super like Zion kind of mushies, my mind thinks different and I analyze things much different. My mind's like, so I watched it with this. Yeah.
No, sorry, bro. I don't know. It's cutting out.
I lost you there.
Hello, can you hear me?
Fuck it, cut out, brother.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, man. I think it's cutting out because I'm trying to respond because I've been thinking about that movie quite a bit actually lately as well because it's there's levels to it.
Ryan,
Can you hear me?
hope you come back.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Just come back and then.
Can you hear me?
Yo.
Yo, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? It's cutting out over here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. It just delayed and stuff. It just delayed.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well,
I can hear you, but your picture's gone. Like.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit. That might be my connection over here. I don't know. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
No,
You were saying?
I've lost you.
I'm here.
Wait. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. I don't know what happened there. Anyways,
You were saying?
I've been thinking about that movie quite a bit, actually. I remember it well. I don't need to revisit it. I remember it quite well, but I will probably watch it again. But
Dude.
The interesting thing about that movie, it's very layered. In terms of the way rule works, okay, and by tyranny, and then swapping one kind of tyranny for colonization, which the movie ends at. So
yeah,
like there's a lot of layers to it, and the way, I mean, I'll probably we'll watch it again, but you move from a state of innocence into a state of because of certain sort of tools that are used to control the masses, such as religion or materialism or whatever groupthink. I wouldn't say it's groupthink is the thing that is the core of it. Things that bind people, whether it be religion, whether it be technology, with like not that technology is bad, but the propaganda that is used. And let's not forget that religion is a kind of propaganda, whether it's by force, like what were those tribes? They were Aztec. It was Aztec.
They were Mayans, Mayans. They were
Mayans,
Mayans,
Mayans, that's right.
Mayans,
yeah, Mayans were that's definitely, it was the Mayans. And then and then moving on to the conquistadors when they came over with the might that they had, and the idea of civilization, coming to civilize the savages, which is really just changing people's mindset to be in a state of convenience, or moving towards a state of convenience. So my salvation, all I have to do is ask for forgiveness every time I do something that is a bit fucked up. So it's convenient to ask them. You don't really need to think about your actions and think of it on a karmic level, or action and consequence. And then also with, and I mean, you could take it to the same level as the way people see science nowadays. Stuff that isn't even based on what someone else says, who is made out to be the lord of science, of the science. So that becomes a cult or a religion as well, and people just follow that stuff and don't ever go into common sense of things that maybe would have been taught by our ancestors. And coming from an African point of view, that's a big deal, because ancestral worship gets you got to wonder why it gets treated as such a threat and is poo-pooed, and herbal remedies that people go, well, that's muti, or it's black magic, and it's because it's antithetical to the teaching that you're going to get from the church. So now we're going another pluck, but I mean that is all linked to the colonization of Africa as well, and the same way it was done to the indigenous people of all over the world, all the Aboriginal people of the world, Australia, South America.
For sure. But like you say, like just to add to that as well, we can talk about it, but also just at the end of that, what that guy says to his wife,
Oh, it's cut out.
It's like, no, let's go back into the forest.
Just cut out.
So that's what we need to do. Like,
sorry, bro.
no, like at the end of the scene when the conquistadors come, and then
hang on,
the wife says to him, "Are you there?"
Yeah, you're back with
the wife says to him, "Should we go talk to them? Yeah, should we go back to we talk to them?" And he's like, "No, let's go back to the forest." And that's exactly what's happening now, you know, with this whole pandemic. You know, people are going back to the forest. You know, like you were talking about the brother Hugh is fucking moving to Nice now. So much of that story. So as long as we've got this technology and we appreciate it, and we have these alliances with whoever that we have, you know, like I said, going back to, we're not for everybody. As long as we've got this, wherever the world is heading, you know, wherever, like I've had this talk with you before, you know, I've got a child, I've got an 11-year-old child that fucking, I don't even know what fucking, I can't even fathom in my head what kind of world she's gonna live in, you know?
Yeah.
And all that stuff, you know, so, and that's also like I say, fear of the unknown. But fuck that, bro. I'm not scared, bro. I'm not scared. You know, things are what they are. Everybody deals with it in their own kind of way. And fuck, you know, if it's your time, it's your time. You know, like, hey, dude, you know, you have to, you know, you have to think about it. But no, I'd like to address all those things, dude. But also, I need to go make some bread. And
sweet.
And I've got some empanadas for you to send me this. And thank you for your time, Ryan. And if you can send it to me via like WeShare or whatever, and then I can play with it around here, put it on Spotify, and then yeah, the great fucking powerful, me and him are gonna have fucking many of talks. Thank you for being part of the Perfect Stranger fucking podcast with me, Vinny Vendetta, El Machete, and yeah, the great Slashdogs. You know, they've got a beautiful song. I was listening to the other day, Maricane, which is something I'd like to chat to you on the next kind of things. But besides that, you released an album. When was the last time you released an album, Ryan? Just let me ask you that before you go.
I think our last album was, oh, dude. The last album was 2000 and, geez, dude, I'm gonna have to check it out. I don't even know. I think it's was
that the one that you released on vinyl, eh?
Yeah, Progress Through Plunder. That one was the
Progress Through Plunder.
Yeah, that was our last album, but we were busy working on a new one when this whole thing happened, and we'd been working on a bunch of different stuff that we never ever stopped working, and we never ever stopped playing shows.
Yeah.
But we did have some breaks in albums, which is regrettable because there was always stuff happening behind the scenes, and we would have. I mean, we were busy working on putting some new stuff out. But I also just wanted to say, I know just quickly, I know that just back to the point that you're talking about with everyone moving out of the cities, it's not necessarily something that is, it's not something that's possible for everyone to just do, especially if you're in South Africa and you've set up things over here, you got lured into the cities or whatever from you know, rural areas or whatever. The thing is, there are options for people in the city as well that may be worth looking at, and maybe we can look at that stuff in future episodes as well. Because
that's awesome.
It's not just about returning to nature physically. It's also about repurposing the cities to be more human friendly and nature friendly. You know, and that is, I believe, that's the subject worth exploring at the very least. So
beautiful, man. That's beautiful. But yeah, dude, like, thanks for this, and whoever's listening, you know, stay tuned for more of the Perfect Stranger, and in the future, yeah, if you've got any insight or any of all the conversations that we've shared today, you know, if you want to share your stories, or if you've got any videos that you've recorded, you know, get hold of myself or get hold of Ryan and send us the videos. But thank you for being part of this beautiful conversation that we had, and we'll catch you in the next installment, my brother.
Awesome, dude. Will do, eh? Thanks, Vinny. Good one.
So yeah, send me the thing, and then I'll call you later.
Yeah, cool, sweet, dude. Later, bro. Cheers,
Respect.
man.
Send me the video.
I will do.
Roll.
Might have to do some.
Ciao.
Might have to do some editing with the cutouts and stuff like that, because the connection's not great.
Yeah. You can just send it to me, and I'll play around with it if you want to play around with it. If you got some time, but I've got a lot of time, so all good, homie.
Sweet, we can work together on it. Nice one, bro. Take care.
Fantastic. Rock and roll, brother.